All right, go ahead.
So in this world, you've got a world in which people are taught to be followers instead of leaders, soldiers instead of warriors, to succeed, to be successful, and success rather than to exalt, prevail, to conquer. Have faith, for I've conquered the world. Famous quote. To triumph, prosper, realize, surmount, thrive, make good. So what we have is a world in which, they put bait out, carrot, to lead the sheeple, you see. Rather than being pastors and leaders, they want sheeple, followers. And they invite people to join their club. And that word club should be taken with more than just a superficial glance. It is a club. It's the club they beat you with over the head at school, kindergarten, where they tell you to succeed and be successful, little Johnny. And then you will join the club and you'll still be clubbed. But it's a special club, of all the successful. So let's have a look at this word then, successful. Because those other words, people aren't interested in that. They're not warriors. They're not truth warriors. They're soul dyers, because they destroy their soul by going out killing what is good, joining armies in which they take the offensive and go to other lands, even to kill and plunder and rape and pillage. But these are the successful ones. Join the army, you'll be successful. You'll kill a bunch of people and you'll get medals, like Bob Dylan's John Brown went off to war. Yeah. So, and it reminds me as well of John Lennon, where he said, as soon as you're born, they make you feel small by giving you no time instead of it all. So rather than being usufruct sovereigns, we are usury debtors. Yes, because we probably all, wanted to succeed. And what does it mean to succeed? Well, you just have a look at that word. To suck seed. And see, this succeed, seed is literal. If you're going to understand anything from now on, understand that when they tell you to succeed, they're telling you have to suck literally seed. And they anoint you with this process whereby a sexual act is performed. And definitely, the process involves the anointing oil, which is the sperm. You see, because these people that want to succeed, and we've all done it, till we learn what was really at play and the trick that they were playing against us. And so we went getting jobs rather than doing good work, because we were ordained to come here to do work, not to get jobs just over broke. Works, good works of faith and works, we shall be saved. So what they do is they invite these people onto the casting couch. They go around recruiting in their institutions, people who want to succeed, because they can tell. They know the low vibration of the one seeking success. Yeah. And they gravitate to them and they invite them. And it's not difficult to get people to join these evil institutions, evil and putrid. And they do these filthy sexual acts, which I'm going to be talking about. So if you don't like this theme, because I'm going to pretty much go deep with it, now's time to turn off. But if you're a real truther, yep, you'll hang around. You see, the penis in esoteric theological science is known as the arbor vitae, the tree of life, because it distributes life. And it is a tree. And that's where you get, it's also called the maypole. Interesting, isn't it? The greasy maypole on May 1st. Beltane's Day. Bell. Bell, of course, if you've seen any of my presentation on the Taurus, is the phallus, the bull. And the phallus, it's the obelisk. That's what Bell is on Beltane. And so that's why they climb the maypole. Yeah. And it's nice and slippery, isn't it? Yeah. See, these successful people, they know what they've done to get there. They've soaked a lot of seed. And they know how profane it is to ejaculate. These ejaculators of the left-hand path, how demonic it is. It's the life force. And so this is why they anoint literally either, well, they have three ways: sodomy, orally, and literally on the head, an anointing. And so they know that by doing this, now they take ownership. This is their slave. Anyone who is willing to accept the life force and waste it like that, not only because it is a waste, because it is expelling the life force. That is magnetic gold, full of minerals, full of spirit, full of life and fire. And it needs to be regenerated by sublimating it and restoring it and returning it back to the head heaven heaved up, whence it came, from the claustrum, the Santa claustrum, and it must return to enter the third ventricle, past the 33rd vertebrae called Atlas, holding the earth on that bone, pivoting the earth. So what we have is to restore that oil to its pristine original condition where it left in the first place, undifferentiated. And as it descended down to the sacrum, it differentiated every level of every part of the endocrine system, from the pituitary body and the pineal gland, where it gets divided into positive and negative, and then all the way down, thyroid, thymus, adrenals, etc. And then it must be returned and restored. And when it is restored, it is 1,000 times more brilliant and luminous, and gives one such adept a halo, holy halo, and ascension. And so this is what they're doing by teaching this art of succeeding, seed suckers. And they're happy to do it. They know all the vile things that they've had to do to be successful. And they tell you this is why they do their little Illuminati pyramid in front of their dirty, foul, brown noses, and they stick their tongues out. Because that pyramid and the eye in the pyramid, that's the brown eye. These are brown noses. I don't know whether you have that expression in America, do you? Brown noser?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. These are people who want to suck a lot of cesspool. Cesspit. They're in the cesspit, and oh, they love success. Sucking cess is just real cool, and sucking seed. You see? So when they're little, they're told to suck seed, and then when they grow up, now they're told, now you have to suck cess. You have to get into this club where there's all kinds of sodomites, pedophiles, ritual child abusers, cannibals, demons, Bolsheviks, Shabbatayan, Frankist, Habat, and all of these evil satanic organizations full of demon-possessed people, because they're all very, very successful. They've sucked a lot of seed on the casting couch. And so, yeah, they're in the success industry. They're sucking a lot of cess in the cesspit, cesspool of debauchery, the Satanists. And they tell you, you know, these cheeky Hollywood people, they tell you with all their little gestures, hiding their eye, telling you we're brown eye, we're brown eyes, you know, we love the brown eye. Because that's actually what it is. It's that eye of Osiris. If you look up, you can go to Google and look up. It's very unfortunate to have to do this, but I'm not suggesting you do, but you can do it. You can go to Google and you can have a look at medical pictures of anuses. And you can see there that the stretched skin around the round brown eye is in the shape of a pyramid, an equilateral perfect pyramid. And that's the eye that these people look to, these successful people. See, because now they've become successful, full of it. They're full of shit and debauchery. These are degenerates, children of demons. As Jesus said, you are from your father. You are liars and murderers like Cain, killed his brother. You are deceivers and liars from your father, who was the original liar. These people have no love, no goodness in them, because they don't wish to conquer as Jesus said you must conquer. They want to just have success. Oh, yeah. Yes, it's so beautiful.
And Uranus. Think about that and how they're trying to get people to say Uranus instead of Uranus. That's very important. Those people definitely look to that anus. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
These are the tricks they do. Yeah. They've turned people into sheeple and chattel. Cerebrum, Aries, cerebellum, Taurus. Sensory nerves, motor nerves, the good shepherd, the good cowherd, Christ, Krishna. These are the two signs of the zodiac, the two lost tribes of Israel, Gad and Asher, which direct your steps. And they want to be a good shepherd and a good cowherd, Krishna, Christ and Krishna. You see? But what they've done is they've turned this shepherd into a sheeple, and this Taurus, sign Taurus, the Torah, into chattel by ownership, by owning them. And now we don't direct our step. We don't use our ram bull to ramble correctly, but we're a bunch of rabble and rubble, reveling. These are all ramble words. yeah, from the ram and the bull.
Yeah.
To rumble, to ramble, these they come from this. That's why your hips belong to Sagittarius, hippo, the horse. So when you're marching with your strong hips, that's your horse. Huh? Taurus is your neck, the bull, strong neck, sturdy. All the animals are there. Leo is the lion in the heart, brave and courageous. Courage, Richard the lion, heart. You don't put lion with the cerebrum. That's the ram, the Lamb of God, the high ram abif, the high ram above that they stop you from getting to. Even the Freemasons who talk about high ram abif, they don't even know that it's high ram above because they're stupid. They're all stupid. It's the blind leading the blind show. And they're successful. Oh, they've all got a lot of money, the pastors. They got a lot of suckers who go and succeed at their churches and give them money. You see, but the problem is what they don't know is this club, it churns people out. It brings them in, burns them, then dumps them. They don't give a shit about them. And they will be succeeded. Yeah, sucker. You want to be successful? Nah, you're going to be succeeded. That's where you get when you follow success. You don't get no honor, no glory, no distinction. Instead, you get a name in the book of death, the black book. Oh, yeah. Yes, and you'll be succeeded by your more even eager and willing successors. Yep, there'll be successors as well. They don't stop because there's always a fool born in this world. So what I would call them is suckers, wouldn't you? We get to go to heaven, they get to go to hell. And these polarities do exist. People will argue it because they get technical and literal. I'm not getting literal. Hell and heaven are conditions, and people are in hell. They are in hell because they're in the condition of hell. There's no mistake about it. They wake up in hell, whereas other people wake up whistling and singing all the time, and they are in heaven. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do we get from this successful condition to be able to conquer and prevail over this world and be masters instead of masturbators, giving away their life by eating from the tree of life? You do not eat from the tree of life, the arbor vitae. And you don't need to climb the maypole. It's a non-existent ladder. John Lennon also said there's always room at the top. You can tell as long as you smile while you're killing. And I forget. Look it up. So but essentially they always invite you. Oh, look, we're rich. You can join this club. There's room at the top, but smile while you kill is the message. So let's have a look at to be a master. And first of all, we're going to learn how to be a real master. And master refers to Mars, the star of Mars, because Mars is a hero. Mars is in Celtic is Jesus, which we call Jesus. Okay, as we know, Jesus is the demiurge, so he's also Jupiter Zeus. He's also the sun, Helios. He's also Saturn, which is Kronos, Christ, Krishna, Kr. So it's all the four big boys from the sun up to Saturn. But it's also Venus, Lucifer. It's also Mercury, the messenger of God. And it's also the moon, the church of Christ. So it's the demiurge. Always Every god, whether it's Samson or Hercules, always it belongs to the 7 archetypes, and you are the one that needs to identify them because they're there. And if you don't, you fail to see the nature of the rainbow serpent, the 7 of the universe, the 7 musical tones, the 7 colors of the rainbow, the 7 planets, the 7 chakras. It's a septenary. Septenary means serpentary, the serpent. The serpent is always sept.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or hept. And that's why we have hept is another way of saying 7. Okay? So master, rather than a masturbator, you know, which is an ejaculator, which is a seed waster, which is a prodigal son, which is someone useless to the universe and themselves, we are going to be masters. And so with Mars, we're going to study Mars and Venus as Adam and Eve, because that is the key. So Adam and Eve were free. By the way, freedom comes from Freya and Adam, because Freya, the goddess, Maria, Freya, Rhea, mother of the gods, that's Freya, which is in freedom, Friday, she's the free one. That's why it's the last day of the week, because you're free, the slaves are free. And then Saturday you rest. Yeah? But you're free on Saturday evening, you're free on Friday. Yeah. So yeah, Venus is Eve. Just put an E in front of Venus and you've got even Eve. And there's only these. There's no use arguing. This is it. This is how the science works. This is theological science. It's electromagnetism. And there's no other way, you know. I'm not being opinionated or dogmatic. This is the truth. You have to teach the truth and be bold and brave and courageous about it. Because the time of the fool on the soapbox, the pedophile priest and pastor who are misleading the people, that's over. Time over. Now we've busted you. This is the true theological science and how to ascend and how to have Christ within and how to be a hero, to be a master. See, they don't want to be masters. They want to be monsters. Instead of Mars star, they want to be moon stars. The moon is detrimental. Master is benefic because Mars is heroic, whereas is up higher in the levels of consciousness than the moon. The moon is the first level. The moon is always the first lady. She's the moonshiner, yeah, the prima donna. Prima donna. Well, donna is the moon because Don is the sun. Don, Sir Don. So Donna is the moon. Madonna, Magdalene, that's who the moon is. She's the prima donna. Prima means first. Saturn is last. It's the first. I am the alpha and the omega, the first and the last. The alpha is the moon and the omega is Saturn. And there are 7 vowels: A, E, O, U. Moon to Saturn. Okay, so she gave us freedom, Freya and Adam and Eve, but in the end she put her name Eve in Ave and made us a slave rather than save us from doing evil, devil. You see? So freedom to slavery. Freya and Adam sold us into slavery. And so success was the drive from now on, rather than prevailing and conquering. So Mars will give us things as, on the good side, he is a marvel. He's a martyr. Martyr. Tyr is actually the Tuesday, the day of Mars, martedì. See? So Marte is Latin or Italian for Mars, and Martin or Martin or Marte, the T-Y-R, tier, or Tew, that's Celtic and Nordic for Mars. So a Marta is twice Mars. If you know what you're looking for, if you know etymology or etymology, same word. Once you understand the atom and electromagnetism, you know where words come from. Etymology, from atoms. Because they are responsible for all the sounds, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So we get martial, as in field marshal, or to be martial, martial arts. They are noble. We must practice martial arts to be warriors. The martial arts are part of art. That's why they're called art. It's yoga. You know, wrestling and learning these things. This is important for the growing and learning to use the body. So these are all the things on the positive side of Mars. More, it gives you more. These are all Mars words, okay? Mars words only. Mark, the Gospel of Mark. Gospel, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. Matthew is Saturn, Mark is Mars, Luke is Lucifer, Luke, the sun, and John is Jupiter. It's always like this. So a Mr. Master. And so Mars is also mortal. He gives you more, but he's mortal. On the negative side, it's when you realize that L and R are interchangeable, you have mal. Mars, and mal, which is bad, evil, malefic, malaise, malicious. You see how the negative side of Mars comes in?
Mm-hmm.
Marauding. Interesting, isn't it, that Mars is marauding? That's what soldiers do. They go around marauding, plundering. Yeah? Mars on the negative side. But what about a marquis? Isn't he a noble? Well, he should be. He should be marvelous. Marvelous, you see? He's a marvel. Mars is a marvel. And the root of mal is evil, because what the apple, Adam's apple, is the malus. See, malum is evil in Latin, and malus is apple. Malus malum. Don't eat the malus malum. And see, that gives you male. You see male on the toilet, he's got the Mars symbol on it, hasn't it? Because MAR and MAL, the same thing. And the most important interchangeables, R and L, that you cannot fail to ignore. You can't fail to ignore. Once you unlock the L and R, the right and the left, the red shift and the blue shift, then you understand R is red, rage, blue is love, left, and left shift. And you'll see these red shift, blue shift in everything. Red pill, blue pill, the red Republicans, blue Democrats, roses red, violets blue, etc., etc. Red blood, blue blood. It's polarity. Red shift, blue shift. Polarity. The material world. So Rome, the patron of Rome is Mars. And that's what Rome means. It's Rom. Mar. Mor or mar. Roma. Even in Italian, it's even clearer because it's got an A on it. Okay? Mars. And Mars rules bitter in astrology. And in Italian, amaro or amargo in Spanish, amargo is bitter. There's Mars. And Mars, Rome, backwards, is maritime. Maritime law, martial law. Oh, they're very martial. Yes, they're the ones who started the Red Army, which they got from the Spartans. And then the Russians had the Red Army. The English had a Red Army. The Prussians, the Hessian soldiers. It's all the Red Army, isn't it? Red, red, red. Blood, Mars. Red blood. Blue, Venus is blue. That's love. You're not going to make your soldiers wear blue. That's why the police cars have got red and blue. Oh, we've come to give you some love. Aha. And then we're going to whip your ass with red. And, and watch out with the red tap, the hot water. Start with the blue. Start with love. So don't get burned. So Male is evil. That's Mars. Males. The mortal one. Yeah? When people die, I always look for the date they die and I look for where Mars is. And 90% of the time, Mars will be in the 8th house, the house of death. Mars or Saturn, but Mars is mortal. Mars causes death in certain transits in astrology. So the apple has malic acid. Malic acid. That's the apple, the malus. You see, and that's where evil and apple all come from. It's all mythological. It's all theological science. Astrotheology is what it's called. And the marvel of Rome is its marble. Yeah, and they made the market. They've cornered the market. They control it from Rome because Mars is their patron saint, and Saturn and Jupiter. The Church of St. Peter is the Church of Jupiter, Petra, stone, and they own all the temples of stone. Hence, they run Peter as well. And Saturn, the crown, Kronos. So they run the crown. I can show you how through all the 7 archetypes, all the 7 gods, all the 7 planets are still in this world and how they work. And this is how they work. And this is Mars. This is the martial part of it. So, and how they do it is they get people to get onto their worship Mars, through a citizenship. And how do they do that? The marriage certificate. Mars. Mar is marriage. So they get the parents to make a trust, and then they give the child the surname of that trust, which is a marriage certificate from Mars. Oh, these people are clever. Hammer in Latin, in Spanish, Italian, martillo, martello, Mars, hammer of the gods. If you're going to be hitting a hammer, you're martial. And this is how you conquer. You don't suck any seed. This is a man, not a sodomite. Nothing against. I'm not speaking against natural inclined people who are born with a gender polarity or in the middle. Nah, not at all. Those are there's 3 genders. It's not like the left wing gender fluidity bullshit that they're an artificial version. But I'm talking about this club that are anointed by sodomy. Okay, they have to be sodomites. It's the only way to bribe them to keep them in the club. A mallet. What's that? Well, that's Mars. Again, mal or mar. Martillo, a mallet. Harmony. That's Mars. To harm is Mars. Mars is hot, warm. Again, they're all Mars words. Alarm, Mars. Alarm, alarm, let's go off to war. So you see how Mars is marvelous and Mars is malicious. What about Eve? The little lady, Venus. Well, she's evil, isn't she? See, she is Eve because Eve is the same word as you, female sheep. Mars is backwards for ram. It's the Lamb of God, and she is the you of God. The I, in other words. Okay, the soul of God. That's what the lamb and the sheep is all about, guys. That's what it's all about. And Eve is the you, because W is a double V. W, doppia vu in Italian, Spanish and Italian, respectively. So she is heaven, Eve. Haven, Eve. To save, Ave Maria. But she's also the sine wave, the sin of Eve, because she ate the apple, which is the sine wave, the body, the flesh. So she is also severe. So once she's evil, next she's in heaven. Now she's severe. What about revere? Venereal, venerate. You see, it's flip-flopping. She's a whore, she's a virgin. The virgin is the whore. The whore of Babylon is the virgin of Babylon. It's the same thing. Devotion, Deva, the goddess, Eve. Devote, Deve. She's the holy dove, OVE, Eve.
What about curve?
Yeah, curve and curse. She introduced through her curves. Curve and curse are the same word, cursive. It's a curved word. So the woman can curse you with the curves, but she can bless you with the beautiful curves. Because you see the splendor of God's creation, you give glory to the Creator. But you don't stoop down to lust, because lust will polarize you in the flesh. Doesn't mean you can't have sex. You have to have sacred sex, tantric sex, white, not grey, not black, non-ejaculatory, infinite orgasmic sex. You can have orgasms because that's your true. You have to experience your true nature in heaven, because you go up the spine into heaven if you implode your orgasm. But if you ejaculate, you don't get up here. You don't get to see what's going on up here. You don't have this artistic creation up here going on. And women get bored. All these ejaculators, they just bore women to death. They're just waiting for a real man to come along to understand how to get her to climb her kundalini, how to get up through the chakras and have the highest consciousness. So when they make love and breathe together and not thrusting about like monkeys in tantric positions, then they make one consciousness. It's so blissful when the two are one. But you can't do that by ejaculating. So, but Eve is vile, not only evil, that's poison ivy, poison. The woman is poison. Why? Because feminine is acidic and masculine is alkalinity. But it's not polarized always in femininity. It's just that those archetypes represent those polarities. But they're interchangeable. The one is the other. They're twins, forever loving each other and forever killing each other, like Cain and Abel, Jacob and Esau, Pollux and Castor. The list goes on. Vain. Venereal Eve, Venus, is vain. But she is also savvy when she saves us. Sophia, wisdom, savvy. Savez-vous?
What about savage?
Savage. Yeah, I could go on. I just got a list here, like I just scribbled there. Right, I just got a list. This is my run sheet. You know, I never have notes. I might have a quote, but I never do notes because you just know all this stuff. You have to think and look at the words.
Yeah.
So, good old Rome, Mars, they know how to margin you. They marginalize you, don't they? Oh, let's look after the minority groups. Bullshit. They can look after themselves. We can all look after ourselves. If there's killing going on, yeah, you step in, but you don't have organisations where you can't speak bad about this race or that race, or you can go to jail and that kind of bullshit. Like, supposedly the Jews. Oh, I'm Italian and I speak bad about Italians. You know, if they're full of shit, they're full of shit. If they're evil in the mafia and they're murderers, they're Italian murderers. They are scum. So it's calling out the murderer. It's not racial. You know, we don't have to marginalise. See, I'm just pointing out how Mars can be evil rather than be the hero, Jesus. So, and again, Eve, the ovine, the ewe, has ovaries. That's the Lamb of God, folks. It's in your body. Those archetypes, they're in your body. See, the cerebrospinal nervous system, Aries, the Ram of God, the cerebrum, Sarah Abram in heaven, heaved up. Same words. I'm stressing them like a primary school teacher because I'm stopping and starting at all the words because they're all important. Yeah, well, so these are all the words of how we can get the best of Eve and the best of Mars, invert them to their positive polarities and harvest those energies rather than what Rome is doing, harvesting the evil of Eve and the maliciousness marauding Mars. See how you do that? You can get good from food and you can get bad from it. You can kill people with a knife. You can make a sandwich with a knife. It's the use of it. It's the use of Mars energy. You see, when the crown represents Kronos, Saturn, Satan, the god of this world, and they work for the god of this world, why are they cruel, Kronos, cruel, is because they're harvesting the negative energy of Saturn, not the positive, which is the ultimate highest positive. It's Christ consciousness, Saturn is. And the crown, chakra, Kronos. Kronos, Brahma, or Vishnu, even Krishna, Kronos, the crown chakra, is sitting on top of your head. How do you get there? By raising, as Moses did in the wilderness, O Nicodemus, to be born again, you must raise the Son of Man, the Kundalini, the serpent, the copper serpent in the wilderness. As Moses raised that up, you have to lift up the Son of Man. If you don't lift up that coiled serpent at the bottom and you lift up that Son of Man, he's wrapped around there 7 times. You don't lift up that dielectric electromagnetic energy, stimulate it, go up the chakras, get them spinning, and receive Christ in your life. There's no salvation. You're going to end up in a very horrible place where your temple, your body, is full of mucoid plaque, acidity. You haven't done any alchemical work in the body, transmuting, purifying the blood and the nervous system. It's full of mercury, thimerosal, heavy metals, animal murdered, traumatized animal parts that are putrefied. Animals putrefy in the gut. Vegetables ferment. Fruit, we are frugivores. Fruit only digests in the body. And so unless you have a fast of 40 days and 40 nights and reset the body back to its liquid diet as a baby and become the frugivore herbivore that we were born to be, see Genesis chapter 1. I give you fruits and herbs, those plants as food. And then a contingency plan, a departure, or a fall from that diet, and then murderous human beings started murdering animals because of misrepresented Bible translations telling them they can kill God's pets. Now they are actually eating those animals. This is a departure from the natural system, because the natural system was set in the ideological Garden of Eden, perfect. Okay, so since that the flesh-eating days, also it is registered in the scriptures that are you following me? Am I still on?
Yep.
Yeah, it is registered in the scriptures that the lifespan of man went down from 1,000 to 120 years. And notice the difference in diet and the difference in lifespan. Hello, people. So it's time to become heroes and prevail, as did Jesus, Mars, Adam, the Adam archetype, the second Adam. Remember, Jesus was the second man, Adam. Okay, which means you start off as Adam, an Adamite, with an anatomy, and you sublimate and you become a Jesus Christ. Christ is the spirit. Jesus is the soul, the 7 chakras. Christ is the source, or the spirit, and emanating the oneness, emanating the sevenness, the septenary, which is Christ, the naga, which means serpent of 7 rays. That's why Samson had 7 braids of hair, Hercules 7 rays of hair, Helios 7 rays of hair, Noah with his 7 family members in his Noah's Ark, rainbow boat, the arch of Noah. It's the sun. Noah is the white light, and in his ark are his 7 family members, the 7 colours of the rainbow, like Snow White and the 7 dwarves. So it's your white light, which is centered in the heart and the crown chakra, but it's centered in the heart, which becomes immediately green, is always polarized by blue shift at the top, violet, ultraviolet, and red shift at the bottom, your yellow, orange, and red chakra, and that's infrared. And that's the polarization, green in the center. The heart chakra has 12 petals, as Christ has 12 disciples, apostles. So the point there is that the spirituality here is involved. Rome and Mars and the succeeders, the successful ones, they're full of shit, and they've sucked a lot of cess. Rest assured, folks, they've committed a lot of crimes to get where they are. And will they be forgiven? We shall see. In the Amentet, in the halls of Amentet of Egypt, there is Osiris and Horus, the son of God, Horus, pleading on behalf of the deceased. And then ultimately it's the decision of Osiris, Osiris, the eye of God. It's the same word. So that's Jesus and God. That's what it is. The intercessor is the one who will forgive. It's the same archetype. There is this father and son relationship in the afterlife where forgiveness, the process of forgiveness is meted out. And so they weigh the heart and the feather, same word, feather and heart are anagrams of each other on the scale. And if the heart is the same weight as the feather, it's all good. But if it's not, then the intercessor Horus, the horrible one, horrid, Harry's another name for him, hurry, because he's hurrying in the sky, the sun on the horizon, the hour maker, Horus. So it's all the sun. Okay, so what we have there is, and by the way, Helios is is the archetype in this world of the sun, which is healing. And what is the sun? Sol, Sol Invictus, to be solemn. All of these words have to do with the sun and the archetypes. You'll find that the seven, Noah and his seven, or Snow White and the seven dwarfs, doesn't matter. You'll find that they all the same thing. You can argue it for the rest of your life. For eternity, you'll remain ignorant. It's best not to argue these things. This is how things are. This is the way the science is, you know. So the sun, Sol, gives us soldiers on the negative side, solicitors, selling into slavery, solidarity on the positive side, solemnity, it helps us solve things, Helios, the healer, halo, holy, to hail, see, but he'll send you to hell because he owns that too. The moon, she is the monarch, but she always monitors us. See how people think the moon is a monitoring station? Yeah, monitor, moon and Taurus. Yeah, so she's going to be monitoring the monsters that she made, the demons, you know. Moon is mind, so mental, the mental ones, the monsters. She'll monetize our asses. Moon. Monopolize. Monotheism. Mars, of course, is the military. Militaire. Terre is Tor. So that's Mars Taurus, military. Militia, martial, maritime. You know, worship. Worship is worship. You see? And of course, they're all, as I said, Kronos is crown, etc. So if we understand, there are other ones here. I mean, I can do Eve. Eve is also a part of the words of our culture that are still part of the politics, etc. The religious side, the theology. It's all about these seven. You know, the seven days of the week. Those are the seven. The septenary nature of creation. It is a septenary, and it's also a dozen. You know, the septenary is the octave, and then the octave and the dozen. So just finish there with that. How to prevail, conquer, and not to succeed. We don't want to be successful, folks. Let's exalt. You know, like the sun in Aries exalts. Let's triumph and prosper. Prosper is a good word. Prosperity, health and prosperity, to thrive and surmount. So, last word is take courage and conquer, for I've conquered the world, and that should be the spirit of the whole purpose of life. Thank you.